Hey, you! In the past month, we all experienced the influence that COVID had on the economy. And it was not the first time that an epidemic had drastic influences on the economy. In the medieval, millions of people died from the Black Death, the plague. But what if I tell you that this crisis was in the end beneficial for the economic development? Let's find out. Before we start, I need your help. I already published a few videos, which are the first that I have ever made, and I'm still learning a lot about editing, voice recording, and how I can present these topics to give you better content. If you're interested in economics and economic history, please subscribe to my channel, leave a like, give me some love in the comments, share this video, and also let me know in the comments below what other topics I should cover for you in upcoming videos. With that out of the way, let's go back to the video. In the mid of the 14th century, the plague started in Europe, in Italy, and killed in a few years around a third of the European population. More than 25 million people fell victim to the Black Death. Those who got infected with the bacteria usually died fast, after a few days, from this deadly disease. Single areas in France and Italy lost more than half of its population. Besides the social implications and the high number of dead which are just said. And at the first glimpse, this was also horrendous on an economic level, as the productivity dropped drastically. Especially as during these times, most of the people were working on the fields or as craftsmen, which were both very labor intensive. The past people were truly missed. Cottages and houses sat vacant. Many crops had rotten in the field or for lack of labor to harvest them. Stock animals died, unfed and underwatered, for lack of human care. Some villages were completely wiped out and never rebuilt. Also, especially the young people suffered and died, and therefore were missing for their producing economy, also in the future. However, in the medieval, it was most important how much of the soil was possible to be used for agriculture and the quality of that soil. Especially before the Black Death, Europe was relatively overpopulated in relation to its agricultural outcome. The plague meant now that higher quality of land could now be used and better provide the surviving people. Also, an effect took place which is described as the leveling effect, which means that the value of the land was reduced as there was relatively more available, while boosting wages as labor was short. Some historians see the plague as one of the stepstones that by latest the 18th century the European economy was better developed as the regions of Arabia or China. Furthermore, the low number of available labor secured higher wages and therefore helped to secure a stable income and a relatively good life, and allowing for buying products with higher quality or luxury items. These products were usually produced in manufactories, which were located in cities, which helped the cities to grow. Inflation was nearly non-existent, and due to the new mentality and appreciation of life, people wanted to enjoy life and therefore were more likely to spend their money on consuming goods and luxury. This also helped merchants and entrepreneurs to grow and accumulate huge sums of capital
And as money was coming in to invest into new technologies and or machines, an important factor of economic development. And this also allowed some of the families to found merchants or banking dynasties which have been household names for centuries. These manufactories and the shift in preferences also went the soil for a new age, the way from the medieval to the Renaissance. As you can see, crises always offer a new beginning and new chances. Of course, we have to ask ourselves for what price, and the human losses weigh heavily. But those people who prevail need to be more creative to work with the given restrictions, especially in the aspect of having less labor forces. But in these extreme situations, also the society comes closer together, as the poor and the working class have a stronger leverage on the landowner and the rich people. They are able to voice their demands and work on their terms, which in the end have a lower gap between the rich and the poor. And statistics show that the lower the difference in this regard, the safer the society. However, if we're thinking about the COVID crisis, it's apparent that this, luckily, was not as horrifying for us as mankind as the Black Death. We didn't lose most of our labor forces, even though a lot of regions were hit heavily in an economic regard. People in different regions struggled in these times to get their food on their table, and in the end, the rich got richer and richer, and the inequality in society just got worse, as this whole COVID thing was just a small hiccup. But as soon as a crisis is existential, it will change the society tremendously as well. So even if a crisis is scary, even if it implies a lot of suffering, in the end, it can really be something that is for the greater good. So if we face a crisis, let us not be scared, but look for the opportunities in it. But these are just my thoughts. What about you? Did you ever hear about the economical outcomes of the plague? How was the time during COVID for you? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to check my other videos. And I'll see you in the next one.